Good morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. Well, obviously, nothing new under the sun, the bright glowing orb that's above us. There's nothing new under that, as the Bible describes. But we are new creations in Christ Jesus, and that's where my name comes from. Well, along the line of nothing new under the sun, things are going to get bad. And I think we have no idea. None of us really realize what is coming down the pipe. We will lose all our freedom. And whether we accept the mark of the beast, accept the world government, it doesn't matter. We will lose it. The difference is those who know they're losing it and are concerned about it, and those who just go along with it because it's the new normal, or it's whatever, it's the new thing they need to do, and they just want to keep living fat, dumb, and happy and be amused by video games and Hollywood. But we will lose all our freedom in the last days, and I really don't think that people understand that is coming down the pipe. Matthew 24 says, "And ye shall hear of wars, rumors of war. See that ye not be troubled, for all these must come to pass." This is going to come, this is going to go, and this is just going to be in the news for a while. The end is not yet, it says. Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. These are the beginnings of sorrows. This isn't the end yet. It gets worse, folks. Because, why? They will take advantage of all these things to usher in a new world order, a world government. So all these are the beginnings of sorrows. They shall deliver you up to be afflicted. They shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So, to be afflicted, they will take you to court. They will put you in jail. They will fine you. We're going to take a look at a number of really disturbing articles that describe the situation we're in. Many shall be offended. Does that sound like what's happening today? All the minority groups are offended, and they have criminalized, offense. There is no free speech anymore. Many false prophets shall arise and deceive many. And because iniquity or sin shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. People will just get, they'll just be done with all the wokeness. They'll be done with everything. Everybody at one point, they're just gonna look out for themselves. Every man for himself. They're not gonna love anybody else because they're gonna just be sick and tired of everything that's going on. But he that shall endure till the end shall be saved. And the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then the end shall come. For ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation. This is the third temple. This is when Satan sits on the throne in the third temple, declares himself to be God, and causes this abomination of desolation, and spoken of by Daniel. Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains. Let them which are on the housetop come down. Let me scroll up. Neither let them which are in the field return back to his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray that your flight may not be in winter, for then shall there be great tribulation. So this is the second half of the 7-year period. The first half, which I believe could start next year, we're just waiting. Things are ramping up. I think everybody feels that things are ramping up spiritually, viscerally in this world. Things are ramping up to something. We don't know what or when, but things are getting worse. Freedom of speech is decreasing. We're starting to get canceled and banned on YouTube for speaking about specific things. We're in this world where we have to talk about code words all the time in social media for fear of hate speech, etc. And so we're marching into this time where a world government rules, and free speech will be completely controlled and really eliminated. There is no free speech anymore. But then we're heading into a time of great tribulation. That's what verse 21 describes. Great tribulation. For then shall be a great tribulation. Not just tribulation, but great tribulation. And so everything prior to it, this is tribulation. All this is tribulation. The end is not yet, it says. Those that endure till the end shall be saved. But the end is not yet. And then we march into the great tribulation. So this would be the end. This would be the rapture, I believe. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days are shortened. Why? Because we're raptured out of there. If any man say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. It says, For there shall arise Christs and false prophets, certainly the Antichrist, and shall show great signs. So this is this single world leader, this Antichrist figure, this politician that rises to power, and everybody gives him full allegiance, and declares him to be the leader of the world. This is the false Christ, false prophet, and there is a false Christ and a false prophet that arise, and they will show signs and wonders. And if it were possible, even the elect should be deceived by this. So it's going to be very hard. The times of deception will only increase. So we're going into, a truth. I don't want it as a truth war, I guess, and the times of deception will increase in the last days. You don't know what is up and down. Even Christians don't know right and wrong in some cases these days. They need to open their eyes. They need to read their Bible. They need to recognize what is coming. Behold, I have told you, Jesus said. And it goes on. It talks about the Son of Man collecting up the saints. This is the rapture. So you can read through Matthew 24 and really see the chronological timeline of the return of the Lord, which I describe here. Kind of all culminating in the tribulation, the first 3.5 years, ending in the year 6000, which is around 2028, somewhere around there. But let's take a look at where the world is. Is there deception in the world? Is there just incredible things that you wouldn't ever have you would never have thought were possible to be happening in the world? The injustice, the deception, the deceiving, the lack of absolute truth. Let's go to this here. Get rid of Keynote. So this is Ohio, amgnews.com. Apparently, Ohioans are prepping. Why Ohio is going beyond just pantry staples, the state's quiet preparation for the unknown. Are Ohioans privy to some secret we don't know? Interesting article about people in Ohio getting prepped, getting stockpiling things. What are they getting ready for? Do they know that something's coming? I think all of us, if you're a Christian, if you're reading the Bible, you understand that something is coming. We don't know exactly when or how, but we prepare, we get ready, and ultimately, at one point, we will have to trust in the Lord, because all our freedoms are going to be taken away, and I don't think Christians understand that. Slowly, freedoms will be eroded. Free speech will be eroded. There's no going back, folks. There is no voting in a president or a prime minister to return things back to the way they were. The slippery slope has started, and we are on the descent. And we will lose all freedom of speech. We will start having bank accounts frozen for saying something that the government does not like. Wrong speak. Go read 1984, for example. This is where we're headed. All right. Loss of freedom in every way possible. Biden's alcohol czar. Americans could soon be told to limit themselves to just 2 beers per week. Now, I read that not as a drinker myself. I don't drink, but it's interesting. Like every aspect of life is going to be controlled by the government. Again, I come back and say I don't think as Christians that we really understand the full extent of this. How much lockdown there will be, how much regulation and law there will be, limiting everything we can do or say, or where we can go in the name of climate change, and limiting our travel. I heard it said that electric vehicles are part of the play. The point of them, part of the point of them, is not to save the earth, but in fact to limit our movement around the world. If you have an electric vehicle, you can't travel as far. You can't go on long road trips. This is what they prefer. They prefer that people stay, short and go short distances, stay in their community, This whole idea of 15-minute cities. It's better for the environment if we're not traveling so far. And someone suggests that EVs do exactly that. In their inefficiency, they limit how far we can go. So that's interesting. Booze being regulated. Everything about your life is going to be regulated. This is coming back. So those mandates are coming back. And they're starting to reemerge because of this new heiress thing. So I spoke of this the other day. But this is happening in the United States, oddly. Of all places, I would have thought you'd start talking about this in Canada. But Canada's going to follow suit, you betcha. And I hope this is not true, honestly, but if they start implementing masks again because of a new rise, if this is the new thing we have to do every fall because flu season comes around, honestly, it's a depressing world we live in if this is where we're going. I'll leave it there. New European Media Freedom Act. So the media is being locked down. They don't have freedom if they're not already, towing the government's narrative, towing the line. Then the government is going to lock them down even more. So this new Freedom Act strips away press freedoms. The press isn't allowed to say anything anymore that the government doesn't agree to. It says, at its core, they seek to dismantle national regulations and establish a European community to control media affairs. He expressed alarm over potential dismantling of France's long-standing press protections, including the influential 1881 law safeguarding freedom of press. When you remove these laws safeguarding freedom of press, you don't have a free press anymore. You don't have a free society. All speech and all information is controlled. You live in a communist dictatorship at that point. Honestly, folks, and this is where the Western countries are going. So look at China, look at Russia. This is where all countries are going, at least Western countries, Canada, United States, Britain, France, all these, modern, quote unquote, Western countries. They're going to the point of regulating everything. This is exposenews.com. C.J. Hopkins, and this is a writer, and this is a book he did on the right-hand side. He wrote this book, The Rise of the New Normal Reich. New Normal. Does that sound familiar? We were told that there was a new normal going forward. The government sent down dictates of a new normal. And there's the Nazi symbol on the mask there. And he has been charged. American satirist and playwright C.J. Hopkins has been sent a punishment order and a choice of 60 days in jail or to pay a fine. What's his crime? Well, essentially his crime is insulting the German health minister in a tweet. So he is getting, possibly going to jail for a tweet using a scarcely visible image of a swastika on a mask in a book critical of global pandemic response. If you say anything against the new normal, anything against the locking down, the mandates, the martial law, the rules the government is putting on us to limit travel, to stay in our places, if you say anything against that, you're going to jail. You're getting fined. This puts a chilling effect on anybody speaking out against anything that the government is trying to do. This is what it's intended for. This is what its end effect is. And this makes a compliable, civilization and public. No one is going to speak out on anything anymore because they're scared to. They just want to live, fat, dumb, and happy. And it's going to come to a point where there will be. I probably can't even say the word because YouTube is going to think I'm inciting some sort of thing. But revolution. You can spell that out. But there's going to be that because the government is locking down everything. But there's going to be few of those people who are willing to stand up, who are willing to go to jail, who are willing to march to their death for what they believe in. It's going to be a new revolution in the U.S., in France, for a select few. And they may not get anywhere because government is so big now. And the citizens are so afraid and not willing to stand up. We stood up in the trucker convoy. And what happened? We got squashed. And regular Canadian citizens weren't willing to support or stand up further for it. We didn't march, me included. I had a job. I couldn't take time off to go march in that. It wasn't enough. When will be enough? When I don't think there will come a time when the populace will stand up, because they don't want to be canceled. They don't want to be seen as haters. And all the truckers were labeled as haters and far right extremists by the government, by the mainstream media. So the mainstream media is telling the story, telling the narrative. They're putting the slant on it they want and making it look like it's something that only undesirables do. And so, folks, most of the population of your country, of my country, will march into communism and dictatorship and total control, otherwise known as the new normal, and we will do nothing about it. It's sad to say, but 95% of citizens will comply because they don't have the energy. They don't have the interest in doing anything other than that. What's happening in China? What's happening in their dictatorship? Most citizens just want to live their life, raise their kids, and not have any trouble. And I'll be honest, that's the same way it is with me. I just want to get the kids grown up in as safe and normal place as they can. And then maybe once they're out of the house, then maybe I can step up and do some of those things. But right now, I just want a normal life for them that I grew up in. And that's what I'm trying to afford for them. So, but it's a scary time. Look at this one. Again, in the United States, Elon Musk. Yet another case of weaponization as the Department of Justice sues SpaceX for not hiring refugees. So these illegal aliens, these people who don't have, green cards, I guess, or American citizenship, well, the Department of Justice wants to sue Elon Musk for not hiring asylum seekers. It's incredible. Had they got nothing better to do? Why are they going after Elon Musk? Well, Elon Musk owns X, or Twitter, and they don't like free speech. And so the left is going after legally, well, not legally, but they're using the legal system. They're going after everybody they think is on the right or not towing the line, not pushing the narrative of the left. The left is, implementing total control of these countries, Canada, the United States, and the citizenry doesn't think anything of it. This is effectively a coup by the left. They're trying to do it, through the legal system. They're trying to take over, criminalize anything they don't believe in. And this is a slow-moving coup. What else is it, folks? And they are winning the battle right now because nobody cares. Nobody is speaking about it. Nobody is standing up to do anything about it. There will come a time where there will be an REVOLUTION, but it may be too late, and it may be a small number of people, and they're likely going to stand up and go to their death or go to jail for what they believe in, just like all the dissidents in Russia or in China. They will go to jail. They will disappear. They will go to a work camp for standing up, and most of the citizenry will do nothing. So, folks, as it was in biblical times, how many folks, how many people stood up to back up Jesus, who was going to the cross? He was innocent. Nobody stood up for him. Even the disciples turned tail and didn't want to admit that they were followers of Jesus. And so it will be. There will be very, very few who stand up for the truth, who stand up and go to jail or are put on a cross, for speaking the truth, believing the truth. Because, again, they just want to live their life. They don't understand that there's things greater. I pray that I would have the faith in the last days to stand up for truth. But it's going to be very hard. This last 100 years has been really easy, folks, to stand up for the truth. But we have failed to do so. We have failed to continue that generation after generation. So that's not a good thing. So we march through, we're marching through Matthew chapter 24. We're heading into the beginnings of sorrows, but the end is not yet. We will soon be delivered up, verse 9, to be afflicted or even killed for the name of Christ. And ye shall be hated of all nations. Everyone will hate you because you're going to be a purveyor of hate speech and that old rag, the Bible. When you're saying that, that's going to be pure hate speech, and they're gonna say that you have no love for anybody because their love is absolutely 100% acceptance of anybody. And if you speak the truth, that will be hate. That will be violence towards them. That will offend them. This is what verse 10 is saying. Hate speech is going to be violence, and they already describe it as such. And then many shall be offended. They will say that you're spewing violence against them, and shall betray one another. This is, parents against kids and kids against parents. There'll be betrayals, and everybody shall hate each other in the last days. And there will be many false prophets and deceptions happening. And because sin will abound, will be everywhere, the love of many shall wax cold. And this is really the end, when nobody loves each other, when nobody cares for each other anymore. That's the end of free and civil society. Then is total control of government and rule of law and totalitarian, effectively communist government will take over to keep the peace at that point in time. And that will be needed because there are no standards. There is no right and wrong. So they will need absolute laws and military control to control the populace at that point in time. So, and then we head into the Great Tribulation. So, folks, we're in the last days. I don't know how else to better explain it. We're approaching what I believe the 7-year period. I don't know exactly when it starts, and as always, I will shift this. If we're not there yet, I don't believe we started the tribulation period. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse have not ridden yet, but we're getting close. So be prepared. Stay in the Word. Don't lose heart, because we know how it ends. The Lord is going to fix everything, but hard times will come and are coming. And I don't think as Christians we understand what is coming. The total lack of our freedom is coming upon us, and we don't see it. We don't understand it. Think of Russia and China, the control there, the suppression and the oppression of Christians, and this is what we have in store in the Western world. It's coming. It's on us now with the limitation of speech on social media platforms where we have to use code words now. If you ever thought we would be in a time where we had to use code words, we're in it now, and it's not unlike Russia or China where you have to use code words and be secretive about these things, unfortunately. Thanks for watching. I'll leave there. We'll see you in the next video.